Good afternoon. It is Wednesday, February 2nd. It's Groundhog's Day. Again. Though I don't know if the groundhog is going to want to come out in this weather to see whether it has a shadow or not. We had a bit of a winter storm come through. Is what it is. I was just planning on staying inside anyway, so who cares? So, what I am going to do is make some buffalo chicken dip. Let's talk a bit about a story. So on my birthday, Mom had gotten me a couple of dishes, like a box with some dishes, because I was like, hey, I got this dish that I use for buffalo chicken dip. Whenever I use it, I make dip, and if I get the rotisserie chicken to make it with from Costco, it's big, and it takes about half the chicken to meet the recipe. So I end up making it, and then I can wash all the stuff I used to make it over the several days that dish will last. Just reheating it in the same dish. And that dish I can take from the oven, and while it's still pretty warm, I put in the refrigerator. And I take from the refrigerator, I put it into the oven, and it doesn't break. Which is a thing. A lot of glass will break. So Mom got me dishes that were from a company that was like that, except I looked in the box and it said, don't, submit to temperature changes or whatever. I was like, hey, so we looked it up, and that company has changed the way they do things. They no longer make their glass the same way. It's not going to work. So we took those back. Well, after Christmas, Mom did some exchanges for like pans as well. So I got pans with lids instead of the pans that I'd actually gotten on Christmas. But also, she finally found an option for us there. A Corningware. Which you can tell kind of looks the same here. But this box is clearly bigger. I'll just grab the lid of this pan here. So, significantly larger. Because my thought was, well, if I have two of these pans, then once I've finished up the first dish, then I could just immediately make the next one without having to wait for another cycle of dishes to get done, so that I had the one dish that I can cook it in clean again. But when we went to find it, they didn't have it in that size. They had smaller or larger. And I thought, well, if it's smaller, I don't really know if it's going to fit. But if it's larger, then instead of even making two batches and having to do the work a couple of times, I could just make a double batch. So I got a larger one that'll fit a double batch, and the idea is I will shred all of the chicken, use twice as much stuff, mix it up, and make a really big batch of buffalo chicken dip. That, like before, I'll just heat up bit by bit, day by day. I don't know if it's going to last longer. Or if there being more, we'll just make it where when I eat it, I eat more. But either way, sounds delicious. So I'm going to get working on that. And it is a lot of chicken to shred. So I'm going to get started. And that is an absurd amount of shredded chicken. And I'm only just now looking at it being like, how am I going to mix in not only the ranch and the buffalo dip, or the buffalo sauce, but also the thing that can be difficult is if I'm doubling it, that's 2 blocks of cream cheese, and that can take some space to get to actually mix in and incorporate. I'll figure it out. So I had to dirty up an extra bowl in order to be able to mix things up, because the one I normally use just wasn't big enough. Try and remember that for the future. But otherwise, I'm about to put buffalo chicken dip in the oven. Just gotta get it in the dish and top it with cheese, and then probably still 25, although maybe 30 minutes because it's bigger. Later I should have dip. And there we go. So really, it's the same buffalo dip that I know and love. It's just more of it. And more is better. Too much of a good thing is a good thing, as Alan Jackson says. And the dip was wonderful, as expected. It's been far too long since I've had it. That was quite nice to enjoy. And I just narrowly avoided an issue that I didn't even think about. See, the container is bigger, and the lid is more domed. I don't know if you can see here, but it just barely clears fitting where I store this. But it's all in the refrigerator. So now for the next several days, I'll have more dip, which is delicious. And it's nice to have a good, meal that I enjoy that I can just heat up here, particularly as it's all snowy outside and I don't want to go out there. So now I do not have to leave. I have good food here I can enjoy. But yeah, buffalo chicken dip and more of it. That's all I'm really doing today. Thank you for joining me, and join me as my journey continues. Bye.